What's happening, man? This your boy OG Freaky the Pimp, and this is the Cultue Connection. It's a live internet roundtable where we can sit back and express our views and opinions about the events that go on in our community. Everything that affects our daily lives will be discussed on this show. My goal is to connect everything from our culture back to our communities. All opinions will be respected, none will be neglected. Now join me as we begin to connect. Church. Hello, everybody. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. Today is Sunday. It's 8 o'clock. You know what time it is? It's time for the Cultue Connection, man. It's your boy OG Freaky the Pimp, Church Tabernacle Preach Sang, man. The song says, it'll all be over. We won't have to cry no more, man. And I know everybody's seen in the news in my video depicts that we lost a legend yesterday in Big George Foreman, heavyweight champ of the world, two-time heavyweight champ of the world. I haven't heard how he passed away, but of course, like I said, we lost him. So that's my little homage to him on this great Sunday, man. So it's a lot of people, a lot of legends we lost. 2025 or 2025. Hey, Jack, what's up, Jack? How you doing? All the way from Houston, Texas, my sister. Today's topic, man, we're gonna get into it. It's a double-edged sword. It's addiction and depression. terrible, terrible, and it's killing our community, man. The addiction, the substance abuse, the addiction to that, along with the depression. We got kids committing suicide, man. We got people out there strung out on drugs, and not just drugs. Uh, can be addicted to anything, man. Alcohol, gambling. Um, an addiction is an addiction. It's not classified if you're just addicted to drugs. That's a terrible thing. No, addiction itself is terrible. You can be addicted to food, addicted to anything, man. So, um, hey, Shan Mo, just give some shout out. Kenny, what's up, brother? Nikki, hope everybody had a good weekend, man. But like I said, we're going to, and that's right, Jackie. Uh, George Foreman was from Houston, Texas. Yeah, that's right. Thanks for letting me know that. Um, like I said, we're gonna go ahead and get into the show, man. Today I got a very, very special guest, real close friend of mine. I go way back with this young lady, man. Uh, we ran the same circles. We partied the same parties. We danced the same dances. You know, um, very outstanding young lady, man. Very, very lovely mother. She's outstanding, man, and she has a lot of good information and a lot of good story to talk about. We're gonna talk about it as I bring her on stage. Hey, Josie, how you doing?
Hey Fred, what's happening? What's
Hey,
happening?
hey, just trying to be what's going on? Oh, yeah, just trying to be cool on Sunday. That's all, man. It's so good to see you. As I told you in the green room, it's good to see you because it's been a while since I seen you.
I'll take my glasses off. I gotta be able to see. I done got old on you here, Fred. I done got old on you here.
Hey, all the oldest mean is that you're wise and your wisdom shows. So you don't have the gray hair yet, but you know.
What? You just can't do a close up. I had to get it out the camera. I didn't want to blind them with these grays.
Yeah, okay. Well, go ahead and introduce yourself to everybody and the people that don't know you, so we can go and get some.
Well, my name is Josette Thompson, formerly known as Josette Staten. I was a Staten when you knew me. Since that time, I've been married, but my journey started over 17 years ago. March the 12th, I celebrated 17 years clean and sober from crack cocaine and methamphetamines.
Okay.
It was an anniversary that I celebrated just this past week or so, and it was made possible through recovery,
Hmm.
and that's what I want to get out there to people, that a lot of people can do it in their own, but
Right.
I did it through trial and error. And
Yeah.
it all started with being mandated through drug court, which is a good program that's set up in the judicial system to get offenders that are offending because they are on some type of alcohol or drug problem.
Right.
And
Right.
so it was through that program that I was mandated to go into treatment. And that's what I did. I went into a faith-based program because I have a background in, we was raised in the church.
Right.
So I went with that. So I went to a faith-based facility, and it forever changed my life. And, I think that's what a lot of people have issues with now, is actually going to get the help until somebody makes them
Right.
go
Right.
get it. And what I thought was the end of everything was actually just the beginning of everything. Because since that time, in those 17 years, I've been at the same facility that I went through.
Okay.
And that facility is a 6 month program. I'll tell you guys more about that, but that's what brought about my history with helping people with substance abuse, is me having to go through it on my own, and go through the program that I'm going to tell you guys about.
Okay. So let me get this right. You were involved and introduced to this program through a court order.
Yeah, well, what happened was, I had a couple of charges,
Hmm.
and I was sitting in jail wanting a change, along with several other women that I was incarcerated with in the Pearl River County Jail. And my oldest daughter had been trying to get some placement for me, and she came across Jacob's Well Recovery Center for Women. It is a 6-month inpatient, Christ centered addiction recovery program that not only helps you with your substance abuse problem, it gives you all the tools you need in retail and things like that to be able to deal and function in the world. It gives you the tools and stuff that you need. And so many other programs go with that, but that's the program that I went through. So, yes, it was a court mandate, court order that I go get some type of help. Now, as to how long that help would have been, as far as time was up to me.
Right.
So I know I needed something long term. Long term treatment is anywhere from 3 to 6 months.
Mhm.
Um, 30 days work for some people, but it felt as a lifetime for me.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so I felt as though I needed something a little more deep rooted and centered for the needs that I had. And I found those here in this ministry, so much so that I've been here for 17 years.
Wow. So you went through the program, and now you work with the program.
I went through the program, and so it's a 6-month program and it's inpatient.
Right.
And so for the first 30 days, you're just getting to the root cause of what got you there. Like, how did I find myself in this situation? So you deal with that the first 30 days. There's a curriculum set up, that there's steps that they help you all along the way. You have Christian counseling. We have a counselor there that helps you deal with the other issues that you face that may be psychological, like you said, or
Mhm.
stemming from depression and other things such as that.
Right.
And we also have the work aspect, where we teach you all matters of aspect, how to run the point of sale systems, how to do shipping and receiving, just get their driver's license, get their birth certificate, get their identification cards, just kind of get back to being a legitimate member of society. So I was court ordered there until I completed that. That was a part of my treatment.
Right. So let me ask you this. What would you say is like the most important thing uh, for an addict or somebody dealing with depression? What is the most important thing for them to understand to get started?
Oh, well, first you have to understand and realize that you have an issue going on,
Right.
and come to terms with that. So you need a good support system. Once you realize you have an issue, you have to get the right support system and get the right help that you need.
Right.
Now, for me, like I said, it was a faith-based program, and so they only had, when I went into this program, they only had it for women. Now we have it for women as well as men and pregnant women. So you have to have that desire there to want to change for yourself, and admitting that you have a problem, and then allowing the people that are going to be placed in your life to help
Mm,
you.
right. So
You have to
it's
accept the help.
you got to be willing. You got to be willing, and you got to like you say accept the help and
Mhm.
want the help. You know what I mean? Because I'm looking at some of my research I've done here. Um, it says that communities of color have less access to substance abuse disorders facilities, way more or less than whites. Now, I'm not saying that to be racial or anything. I'm just saying
Right.
that the situation and the communities that we are involved in and we live in are not prone to help treat. Is that right? Does that make sense?
Well, the only inaccuracy I find on that is that the help had always been available to me. I
Okay.
just never took advantage of the help because I was using.
Right. Right.
And I didn't want to come from where I was or what I was doing. It was available. I didn't want it. So when it became available as a way for me to stay free,
Right.
I accepted it. So the help is there if you're searching for it and you want it and you're going through the right channels, you can get it. Just say if you're a person that's using and you're on probation, you can
Right.
certainly go to your probation officer and say, hey, before you end up locking me up, I got something going on and I need to get some help. Well, they will in turn get you into either our program or get you into another program that will help you get a hold of what you have going on. So the help is there.
Right.
Again, it's the desire that's going to trump, you really stepping out in faith saying, hey, I got something going on with myself, and it's not everybody else, it's me.
Right. Right. So, did you when you said the help is there, and I know your family, most of them. I'm not gonna say all of them. I know most of them.
Hmm.
Did the immediate help come from family? Was it family or was it church or was it?
Well, I'm gonna say the help came from my immediate help was my sister and my children because they were
Mhm.
all of age.
Right.
By the time my addiction had come full circle, my kids were grown, just about it.
Right.
And I had friends that weren't in the drug world either, and they couldn't really believe that I had found myself in it. Well,
Right.
I found myself in it because I used to deal drugs,
Right.
and so in doing so, it became a part of my life to try to, stay up, to keep going, to make money because, it was all about the money back in those days. And so for me, I can say I had the love of a sister and a family that wanted better for me. I just didn't know to want it for myself, so I gave them hell during the process.
Mhm.
I had friends that didn't really understand the drug world, so I had to separate myself out from them as well to be able to do what I wanted to do because they weren't understanding, hadn't been there. So
Right.
my friends and family were a lot of support for me getting into treatment and staying in treatment and staying clean. Is because I've had a village of people behind me and the people that I've met along this 17-year journey
Right.
so into my life on a daily basis.
When you say your sister, you talking about Sweet Nicole.
Yes.
Man,
Yeah.
where is Nicole? Where is she at now?
Working hard. She's off working out of state.
Man, tell Nicole I said, hey, I'm telling you, she is one of the sweetest persons I've ever met.
Fred was a major contributor to my recovery because we have a mom who has always dealt with substance abuse and still does,
Right. Uh-huh.
And so when it happened for me, she really wanted something that she couldn't even understand that she know even existed for me.
Right.
But she was a big part of my recovery as well as, like I said, my children.
Okay. That's man. I love Nicole, man. She's
Everybody
always.
loves Nicole. We was always like the good sister, bad sister. Nicole was the good sister. I was the bad sister.
Well, I mean, hey, we love you too, though. I mean, like I said, I mean, we ran back in the day. You got to be from Bay St. Louis, Pakistan, Pearlington, and Picayune, and Calihoula, like y'all say, Calihoula. You had to
Callie,
be, you got to
don't
be
do
from up there to,
Catahoula. Don't
to
do
understand
Catahoula.
the little circle we had, man, and the good times we had, and the things we done.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, addiction will spoil the party
Right. I agree. I
every
agree.
time.
I agree.
Every time. So what I want to get out there for people is that I went through Jacob's Well, which is a 6-month program for women.
Uh-huh.
We also have Damascus Road Recovery Center. That's also a 6-month program for men. All this came into play over the years of me, going through the program. We added the men's 6 months facility. The men, they get to work and they have REP programs that allow them to work and pay for their program, and they send the rest of the money home to their family.
Right.
Um, we also have a pregnancy center where women can come have their babies clean. We have second step where when you finish the program, a lot of people didn't have a good area to go back into. You know
Right.
what I'm saying?
Right.
Their area was plagued with drugs, or the home that they were in or lived in had nowhere to go back to, so they get clean in 6 months and then have nowhere to go.
Right.
So we started what we call transition, where they could graduate the primary boots on the ground, 6 months, get your life back, feeling good, know to work, you can work. Then they go to the transition and they can get a job outside of there. We get them to and from work, but they still have accountability to come back. and live and pay bills and save. It's just a win-win all the way around
Right.
once you decide that you want to do something different.
Right. You say like it's like taming a wild animal and then putting them back out in the wild. You know what I mean? What you expect them to do? You know, you
Right.
expect them to get
And
back.
for so long, we didn't have a second step.
Right.
Um, which is why I stayed a part of the program for so long. Not because I was afraid that if I wasn't connected to the ministry that I would fail. It was just like a sisterhood,
Right.
of women with like-minded issues that we'd all been out there together, struggling, trying to get ourselves together, trying to be a better mom to our kids. I had children young. I had 5 kids by 21 years old.
Right. Right.
You know what I'm saying? So nobody's really telling these young women what's leading them down this path of destruction.
Mm-hmm. Right.
They're not sharing that testimony with them.
Well, do you think that's a community issue, or you think that's a religious issue, or
I wouldn't really put it as a religious issue. It's just a matter, I would say, of sharing the knowledge that you have, basically the word of your testimony with these men, women, girls, boys, that are coming behind us, that we too have been a part of these streets, and not because we had to be, because we come from good homes, but because the world makes it appealing to you, and it's something that you want to be a part of, even though we teach them and they have been taught different. If you don't stay connected and share with these kids what's going on and what has been going on, and tell them besides condemn them, I figure we'll be saving a whole lot more with just the word of our testimony, not being religious, but
right,
just being insightful and sharing wisdom with the young boys. Like, hey, I did that. I slept with a whole lot of women. I made kids. I didn't take care of them. I think if we share our shortcomings instead of condemning, making condemnations on people, to just not observing, being
right,
observant, but just condemning, and that just pushes them further and further into the fray, and doesn't give them a chance to really be who they need to be, because they don't have an example to follow,
right,
and the examples that they're following are leading to death.
right. You're right. And outreach is very, very powerful, very powerful. In my opinion, I believe that kids are more prone to understand and listen to somebody that's been where they're trying to go, you know. And it's sad.
Magic word. When I was in recovery, everyone that would come to the recovery center, people come and share their time with the women and give the word of their testimony, in
Right,
hopes that they'll be like, hey, I was just like you. I was the woman in the streets. I did this and I did that. So that's what helped me.
right,
See, for you to tell people something and you've never been there, it don't really sink in. But when you're looking at them saying, hey, these streets don't owe me nothing.
right,
I was a neglectful mother. I was a person who put drugs before the kids, not because I didn't know any better, because the drugs had me where I didn't want to do any better. And so many people find themselves in a situation and feel like they all alone. Like, how did I get to this point? Girl, a lot of people been at this point. You just don't know nothing about it, because they're not gonna tell you how now people are calling them Miss Josette and Mr. Fred, and they're trying to do things to get the word out, because you've been where these people have been, and people can respect that and receive that from you, which is why I reached out to you. You know what I
right,
mean?
right. And you did, and you reached out loud and strong last week. You sure hit me up and said, "Hey, man, we need to do a show on this."
That's
And
right.
it's a very, very, very
Seeing is believing. People who knew you and me can believe it when they see it, when they get the word out. Like, did you see Josette was on there with Fred?
right. But like I said, it's a very, very serious problem in our communities. Addiction and depression, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And let me share this with y'all. Depression. It says depression is common amongst people battling addiction with drugs and alcohol. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like a full circle. That's why I call this show a double-edged sword, because if you're dealing with one, more than likely you're dealing with the other one. You know what I mean?
You're depressed because you feel as though there's no way out.
Right.
and the more you do, the more you need. And then there's the problem.
Right.
I mean, that depressed state of mind leads to all areas of mental health failures, of addiction failures. But like you said, depression is the leading cause in addiction because people find themselves in a situation they have no control over anymore,
Right. Right.
and they become depressed about it. It's not who they know themselves to be.
Right.
And when it gets out, the shame sets in. And it's
Right.
harder to remove yourself from that situation when people know they're talking about you. You know, lost your job, lost your good standing, and then shame sets in, and it's harder to pull yourself out from those type of areas. And then if you don't have the counsel that you need and the people in your life pushing you to say, hey man,
Mhm.
yeah, stop taking them perks. I mean, it
Yeah.
ain't cute, it ain't cool, and it's gonna
Mhm.
lead you somewhere you don't want to go fast,
Right. Real
faster
fast.
than you want to get there.
Right. Let me share this with the audience real quick.
Okay.
I looked up the most five addictive substances in the world, and we're looking at number one is cocaine,
Mhm.
number two methamphetamines, three opioids. I'm sorry, three alcohol, and four alcohol and five nicotine.
Mhm.
And one thing you see about all five of those that they're present in our community is very high, very high. And like I said, we had to stop this fentanyl stuff. We're gonna have another show on fentanyl. We got to stop this because it's
Mhm.
really killing people.
Can't tell you
Really,
how many people we've lost over the 17 years that I've been. I've learned more about opiates. I've learned more about alcohol. I've learned more about substance abuse than just being high over
yeah,
these years. And about the effect that it really has on people. Now, alcohol was never my thing that bound me, but it's really hard for people, and I figure that's harder than trying to get off any other drugs because it's everywhere and it's socially acceptable. You
right,
know.
yeah,
And so, substance abuse without the help that you need to get through it on those things that you just named, fentanyl being the number one killer, um, people need to be made aware that it's also the generic drugs that are in the store are taking people out. The
right.
kratom, the tenaptipine, what I can't that I may not have told the name of, but um, it's these across the counter drugs that people are able to buy out the store, trying to replace or be non-detectable on drug tests, and those things, Fred, are getting just as bad as the actual top drugs that you name.
The drugs, right? So basically, you're just telling me, and which I already knew, and I believe this in my heart. You don't need a drug dealer. A drug, you can be your own drug dealer. CVS can be a drug dealer. You know what I'm saying?
It
Miss
can.
Nana Scott,
I
just a
mean,
second.
people will find, and these young kids who are so impressionable right now and
Mhm.
that don't have the kind of guidance that we had, like the kind of be home before the street lights come on,
Right,
um, they are getting introduced to more stuff that's easy to get. Like you said, you don't need a drug dealer. You can order it online.
right. That's sad. Let me. Somebody made a quote. I want to read it to you and see what you feel about it.
Okay.
Miss Nana Scott, which is my friend Jackie in Houston, she says, addiction is the outcome of people trying to self-medicate the pain and helplessness as they experience from depression. Did I read that right? Yes. Again, addiction is the outcome of people trying to self-medicate the pain and the helplessness they experience from depression.
Amen, sister. You said a mouthful because there's definitely a helpless feeling in addiction. I can just remember just thinking, how did I get to this point?
Mm,
I mean, just really, how did I get to this point? I knew how, but it's easy to fall into a mess. It's harder to get out of it.
mm,
And you gotta want to.
right. That's the key. You have to want to. And let me say this, and share this between me and you,
Hmm.
because I've been knowing you for more than 30 years. I've been knowing
Hmm.
you they're almost 40 years maybe.
You're gonna be done told somebody how old I am, but keep going. Go ahead.
I'm 41.
Okay, I'm 56.
You're 56 for real?
Yeah, I think I'll be playing about that.
Good Lord. But like I said, I've been knowing you for a long, long, long time,
Mhm.
and I never ever would have thought that you were addicted, had a substance abuse problem, or anything. Because I remember you as the fun loving girl. It was always a good time hanging out with you. We always laughed and joked. We ate good. We drank good. We
Mhm.
had fun. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Until you told me that the other day, I had no idea. I never would have known. Which leads me to my question: what do you think the hardest part for an addict to overcome? Is it the shame and the guilt of the from the family? Because we all have addicts. Everybody, you can't say you don't have somebody that's a drug addict or abuser or even a drug dealer.
Mhm.
Everybody that I know has somebody in their family that does that. So my question is that the hardest part?
I think the hardest part is you think back to the people that you've hurt that love you.
Mhm. Okay.
Basically the damage that you've done to your life over a course of time, because drugs consume time that passes by so fast that you don't even realize it's gone.
Right.
Okay, so I would have to say the time and energy that I put into it. The shame, I was delivered from the shame of it early on because, like I said, it was a faith based program. So it taught the love of Jesus Christ and forgiveness. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Not only for myself, but for others who hurt me along the way during the time that I was in that lifestyle. So it was the shame of it all in the beginning,
Mhm.
um, but and the time that I lost with family and friends and my children.
Right.
um I lost my son in 2015, and I felt as though had I still been in a life of addiction, there would have been no coming back.
Right.
But because I believe in the God who delivered me, religion isn't for everybody, but recovery and getting better and getting to a place that you can have control over your own life is. And
Wow.
there are avenues for that. So mine would be the time that I lost with my family, left me feeling a empty void. In the very beginning of my recovery was the time that I lost out with my family.
Wow, you just said some powerful words there, man.
Yeah,
Really
it
did. And
was
I
fun
agree with you.
because you can't get that back. I don't mourn that time. I look back and say, sometime now, if I'd have had the money I wasted, I could have a house on the hills.
Right.
But it was more so the time and energy that I put into going backwards. I use that now to fuel me and propel me forward. Like when I'm talking to the girls, and giving them my testimony, I always say when I did what was bad, I was real bad. So when I'm gonna be good, I'm gonna be real good. So I use that energy to not make up for the time, but make this good time moving forward.
Mm. And
Yeah,
I think that's key in recovery because I think you said it earlier that people think they don't have a way out, but
yeah.
there's
Well,
plenty
it's a
plenty of
helpless
ways.
feeling.
Right. But it's plenty of ways out. Like you said, you use your faith in God
Hmm.
and religion and your Lord and Savior. It might not work for everybody.
That's right.
That route might not work, but there's plenty of ways that you can get out if you just gotta want it.
Yeah. I don't knock any, as long as people, Fred, are working to recover. For me, it doesn't matter if it's a secular recovery or if it's a faith-based recovery. If
Right.
you're recovering and you're doing the work, I want it to work for you. I
Right.
promote Jacob's Well because I believe in them. I'm getting old, y'all. I'm having a hot flash. This is a hot flash. Once you get 50, no matter if the air is on 49, okay?
Right. Right.
But I believe in recovery.
Right.
It's not the falling down part, it's the getting up part for me. So
Yeah.
although I'm on here to let people know about what helped me get free, it's just freedom and stepping out there in faith and taking a chance on yourself to do better.
Right. And then that's the first step is you gotta acknowledge yourself that the
Hmm.
issue is there, and then you move forward trying to correct it. Now,
Right.
we mentioned your sister and your family earlier.
Mhm.
Um, I think, in my opinion, I think that's very important to have that kind of background so that they can like kind of push you forward. You know what I'm saying? First you got to
Right.
have the willpower, but you also have to have the strength and power of your family members and your friends to help push you forward. Because I mean, like I said, every family has a drug addict or somebody that's,
Everybody.
and what do we normally do? We talk about them. We stay away from them. We want to see them. Like it's almost like we want to see them continue to fall instead of stopping and saying, "Hey, let's help this guy out. Let's help this young lady out."
And I'm gonna say something. I wouldn't. I have been a family member that has talked about the other ones, but it
Mm,
has been because I think you get to a point where you can help people so much.
right,
So when you see that they're not trying to help themselves, you just begin to wash your hands of the situation. And
right,
a lot of families find themselves in that predicament with their loved ones that they're trying to help, because see, what they don't realize is that they're on a whole nother level than the people that are trying to help.
right,
So
right,
your understanding for them is not the understanding that they have for what you have for them. You know what I'm
right,
saying? They're not accepting that love. They're not trying to accept that help. They don't know not to, because the drugs are saying one thing and the love is saying something else. So
right,
I think they get to a point of being fed up, which is where they were with me,
mm,
which is why I was so glad when I got to the point, this program that I'm in,
mm,
different people in the community sponsor these ladies, different churches and stuff like that, and sponsor
mm,
these men, because the families are to a point, like you said, they're fed up. They
mm,
don't want to have nothing else to do with you, because they don't believe that this time you're gonna really do it. And they're putting time and energy and money into you getting better, only to have you do the same thing all over again. You see
yeah.
what I'm saying?
Understand that. Understand that. And you said uh the Jacobs Well Recovery Center is for women
Hmm.
and Damascus Road is for men, but
Hmm.
they're all at the same number. If you know anybody, people that's struggling in addiction,
And
down,
also, if you have a loved one that is incarcerated
right,
and you're thinking about bonding them out again, okay,
mm-hmm.
here's a thought. In order to help them, I would talk to their probation officer to see if I couldn't get them some sort of help.
Right,
We have gotten a lot of ladies in that way. That's how I had to come in. Sometimes you don't know the help until you are in those type of situations.
right,
You're more vulnerable to take that help. You understand what I'm saying?
right, right, right,
So once you get your family member to a point that they're gonna accept this help, sometimes you have to start and meet them right there where they're at. If where they're at is incarceration, that's
right,
what you got to work with. Sometimes you have to take those steps to help your family. My family did it for me, and 17 years in.
right. So you saying like if people are fighting for something else that they want, like say your freedom, they're more inclined to want help
That's
and
the hey,
go through it.
that
Yeah,
brings about a need. I didn't want to go to prison.
right, right.
I had never really, like you said, you knew me. I was never a person to be in and out of jail.
No,
And so when that lifestyle, and it will in time, for anybody that's listening to think, oh no, I ain't that bad. It's gonna get bad. It's
eventually.
not if, it's when it's gonna happen. And when I began to go back and forth to jail, is when I knew I had a real problem. You know what I mean? And that I needed something, that incarceration don't always fix the person's struggling with drugs.
Right,
And that's what people don't see. That's why I'm thankful to be in the position that I'm in now, to work with some of the same officers that arrested me,
right,
to work with some of the same detectives to get other women help, that they see it possible, because I was in a lot of trouble in Pearl River County.
mm,
Now Pearl River County is the county that I live in, work in, help women come into the program and get help men come into the program and get help, go to court with them and speak on their behalf, on the
you know,
side of addiction, and where it can take you and where it can bring you, and also where it can deliver you from.
right,
And so the justice system has played a big part in getting a lot of people help as opposed to several years in jail. It has changed their lives completely.
Right. And that's the amazing part. I mean, changing your life is an amazing part. Let me read another statement.
Okay.
Joseph Powell said, "Facts. You gotta want to help and do it for yourself. Yes, you do. You do. That's the most. I think that's we said that's the most important thing. You gotta accept the fact that you're in a situation and you want to get out of it, and you gotta accept the fact that it is there, and you gotta do what you gotta do to get out of it.
All it takes for me is a desire. When I went into the recovery program, I knew that my children wanted me in there. I know that my sister wanted me better. Fred, I just wanted a temporary fix. You
Right.
know what I'm
Right.
saying? I just didn't want to be locked up for one. And if I got better along the way, so be it. I just
Right.
didn't believe it for me.
Right.
And when I got into this house filled with other women with the same similar struggle, I felt nobody here thinks they're better than me. Everybody here, we're all on one accord. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And we're here trying to get things done in our life that we couldn't do on our own. And so that's the good thing about recovery is that everybody in there is trying to recover from something. We had people recovering from gambling problems.
Right.
Not everybody was there for drugs. You said in the beginning of the show, a problem is a problem is a problem.
Right.
If it's something you don't have any control over,
Right.
it's an addiction.
Right. Right. And it's an addiction. Right. And that's what the definition is said.
And one is no better than the other. So for
Right.
people that feel as though um I might have sniffed a little cocaine, but I didn't smoke no crack.
Right. It's still the same. Addiction
Same,
is addiction. Right.
same.
I don't care if you
So
did if you're addicted to candy or cotton candy, it's still the same addiction. Addiction is the common word, the common bond.
yeah.
Addiction. So
It's
that's a
beyond your ability to control your actions.
exactly
You do more than you're planning to do. You say more than you're planning to say. You're gonna go too far. You do not have a grip on if you're taking them drugs or you're doing it on the weekend or whatever. That's how I started.
right. Right.
So people are so relaxed with it now, and and that's why it's becoming more common because people, oh, I would just pop me a perk the weekend, and then it just becomes uh over and over and over and over again,
It's like spirals out of control before too long. And like you said, real fast. It'll take you there real fast. Before you know it, you're going from once a weekend to once a day to 3 and 4 times a day because
And a free high is the worst high because I
right,
mean I talk to people all the time. Oh well, Bitch Joe said I don't buy it. Somebody giving it to me. I said, well, somebody's giving you death.
right, right.
A free high is the worst high.
And I'm telling you, man, I mean, I know a lot of so many friends that I grew up with that you know too
Hmm.
that became um from being let's say the who's who, knowing all, the good guy, to the drug user, to
Same,
the
same,
substance abuser, to even death. I know some people that lost their life behind it. You know what I'm saying?
same.
So it spirals down real fast. You know
Hmm.
what I'm saying? I'm talking about people that were athletes, went to school with me, played football, basketball, um, smart people that made A's in school. It's
That you
it's
never would have thought. Here's the thing:
yeah, what about it?
you used to could pick a addict out.
Right,
You can't do that anymore.
right,
It's not black. It's not white. It's not Puerto Rican. It's not. It's everybody,
right.
young, old, in the middle. It's Fred. It just amazes me sometimes when I see these kids because they're coming in younger and younger.
Hmm.
When I went through recovery, we were all about around the same age. I went to recovery at around 40.
Right.
Everybody was kind of winding down. We were in our 40s.
Hmm.
Now they're like 19, 21, which I commend them on that. That at
Right.
their age, they're trying to do something different. And I tell them, if you get your life together right now, you set.
Yeah, yeah.
At 19 years old, if you turn your life around right now, you still have a full life to live.
That's right.
So
Right.
it's younger.
And you know one thing, you can't knock nobody's road, and you can't walk nobody's path. You can't knock nobody's road. You got to let people walk their own path. Let people find out, their way. You know what I mean? Because like I said,
Right.
my way or your way is not the same.
That's
I
right.
there's an old quote I used to use, uh, that we all ride the same bus. Just some don't get off. Then when you get off, you way past your stop. But one thing about it, you get back on another bus and go back the other way. You know what I mean?
Right.
You can go back and into a clean life, or if you're down in depression, you can go back into a happy life. You know what I mean? You just got to remember.
And I've watched some of these ladies that have graduated our program over the years. I graduated in 2008. Jacobsville has been open 19 years.
Uh,
And I've been there for 17. And I've watched so many girls who felt like they would never again, to include myself, be a part of anything meaningful, anything of value, be able to add anything relevant to this world or to their families, or have a husband, or and me being one of them. I never thought that I'd be married, and be able to be in a committed relationship. But when you battle addiction and depression and mental illness and all those things that surely go together, it just takes away and eats at the core of you as a person. And when you get that back, your later years are so much better than all the stuff that you didn't know when people were trying to tell you and walk you through it. Until you walk through it on your own and you learn the size of your own shoes, you can keep walking.
right. That's just like your grandma used to say, don't stick your hand in that on that fire until you stuck your hand on that fire. You got burnt. You understand why? Um,
Hmm.
it just it's powerful. Your statement and your life and your story is powerful because, like I said, I never would have knowing you because if somebody mentioned your name, I'll just go back to the times we had.
But
The
when I left
things we
Pastor
had.
Stan, I left Pastor Stan, and I really got off into some things that I
Hold on,
felt
hold on.
as
Say
though
that.
I
Say,
had
say
enough
that,
street
Joseph.
smarts to kind of handle, and it just kind of handled me.
Right,
And without warning, I was flat on my face. I
right,
mean, it was just so fast. It like basically happened overnight,
right,
you know? And that's what people find themselves at. And I had every tool that I knew I needed because I had people in my life that weren't on that level
right, right,
that tried to help me. But it's the secret keeping from the shame that people face when they're going through addiction.
right,
They don't want to tell people because of the judgment.
right,
So again, you have to surround yourself with people that you got to tell the truth to. You got to
right,
have somebody you can tell the truth to.
right. Because like you said, that stigma that people, and I'm not saying a person, I'm saying people as a society, that
Hmm.
stigma they put on alcoholic. You know what I mean? And all the you got to go to the meetings, that type of stuff. To an addict or somebody down in depression, the stigma is more hurtful sometimes to me, in my opinion, than the addiction. You know what I mean?
It
Because
is.
you have to go back
It
and
is.
face that over again and over and over and over, and that stigma labeled on every time you walk up. They go Fred, they go Fred.
Like I said, it's still people, Fred, that have ugly things to say about me as long as I've been clean. And it used to be a point in my life where it used to bother me, and they were gonna have to hold up for it. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right,
But as I got older, the more you do, people are gonna have something negative to say about you in this world. So I figure you let your actions speak for themselves. You lead by example. And that's what I do in my life. I've been consistent in the things that I'm doing. No glory to myself or blowing my own horn, but because of the life I've lived has helped me help other people just from being honest with them about what I've been through.
right.
You know what I'm saying? It's power in telling people what you've been through and that honesty aspect where people could say, well, dang, if she could be all right, if she did all that and
Mm-hmm.
she's okay. I went into treatment with 3 felonies.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have any. There was a judge that cared enough about me to say, hey, I'm gonna wipe those off your record because you said you're helping other women get their lives together. So
Right.
if you just think how many other women that if you help this woman and then this woman helped this woman and then that woman helped that woman, this guy helped that guy because he got clean,
Right.
and just keep it going.
And just keep it going. Right. Right. Wow. Some more powerful words. And I'm gonna tell you, the best testimony, in my opinion, is a living testimony, and that's what you are. I mean,
Well, thank you.
you're around to live and tell your story and preach your gospel. You know what I mean? And without getting religious, because
Yeah.
when you say gospel, that really don't mean religious. That's just your story. Your
Hey,
gospel is
and
a
I'm gonna
story.
tell you something. I respect everybody. I love the Lord. I know that's how I got free. And when
Amen.
people ask me, I tell them I don't pressure anybody into anything. I know what it has done for me, and I can
Right.
speak on that. And that's my testimony to tell. I don't get caught up in the religious aspects of everybody because I built a relationship with the Lord myself, and I was taught that through this program by being a faith-based program. It gave me building blocks. Having already had that background, it was helpful to me.
Right.
Over the years, women have come in that have known nothing about religion, period. But that's what we teach there. And if
Right.
they're open to it, we don't beat it over their head. They're open to it. That's what they learn. They have those tools to take with them. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? And so, again, for me, it's whatever works as long as you're working something that's gonna produce results in your life.
Right. Right. And that's the bottom line. That's the only thing that really matters. It's just going to produce results. Because
Hmm.
I mean, I know you're a faith woman, you're a woman full of faith.
Hmm.
There's plenty of stories in the Bible that where people lose their way and then find their way back through God or through Christ. And
The
you're
woman
one of
at the well. That's what we're
them as
centered
well.
around.
Yes.
The woman at the well.
Right. And it's like I said, it's just plenty of stories. If you know the Bible, there's plenty of stories that people lose their way and are able to return through God Himself or through Jesus Christ or whatever your religion is. You can be Muslim
Yeah.
through Allah. You know what
Uh-huh.
I'm saying? So, like I said, you're a living testimony. You're a living testimony. That's the most important and best testimony because if you're not here today to tell me this story, nobody knows. You see what I'm saying?
Right. And and I'm not afraid or ashamed. I'm always putting posts up sometimes on Facebook encouraging the women to tell these young women your stories instead of talking about them.
Hmm.
Give them the word of your testimony about how they live in their life, how
Right.
they're falling short. Give them something that, because I love talking to the young girls because they think it's so funny when I tell them about Hot Girl Joe over here. You know, they just don't know. And I tell them, look, I used to be fine too, Fred.
What was I about to say? I don't know Hot Girl Joe, but I know Rosie Josie. That's my name for you, Rosie Josie. Because
So I mean, I try to tell them, and that things change in life as you get older.
Mhm.
And if you don't start watching yourself and watching the things you do and the company that you keep, addiction is so easy to fall up under trying to have some fun.
Right,
Fun is I'm not telling people don't enjoy your life, don't have a good time. I'm just saying have a structured system in your life. Have people around you that you can trust that are helping you prosper and grow into something that's going to bring you something that you're going to be able to see, feel, and touch. All you have is yesterday's gone. You
right.
have today, and tomorrow's not promised.
That's right. That's right. Let me pause you and let me read a couple more statements coming in
Okay.
on Facebook. My friend Joseph Powell, he says, "Man, God is good. To hear you tell your story and your testimony, you looking good. You talk about the Lord." He said, "Do your thing. He knows your heart and your input on things, and He sees how you can handle things." Uh, my friend Joey White from Pastor Stan, Mississippi, 39571. Uh, he said, "Fred, she had to go through the storm to get the sun to shine. He praises you." And that's what I
Amen.
said. Like I said, that's being a living testimony. That's being able to be here and
Yeah.
honestly tell your story. And one thing, like you just said, the shame itself is very difficult to overcome. You know what I mean? To come back around friends that you used to know and they look at you differently. That's very difficult to overcome. And you've done that. So I applaud you. I commend you because I don't know if I would be able to do this. You know what I'm saying?
And a lot of people say that, and I want to shout out a lady that I work with named Renee Holder, and I said I want to shout her out because she runs our pregnancy center for women,
okay,
and she runs the pregnancy center, and she herself had her own daughter who's about 7 or 8 now. She had her at a pregnancy center all those years ago, and
uh,
having her daughter changed her whole life around. She
right,
came through our program. I think she came through the program more than one time. She had to come
mhm,
back. She got it together. She's living her life. She's been clean now over 5 years. She runs this pregnancy center for women, and it was out of her own struggle that it came about for her to be helping these women. When she had her daughter, it changed her whole life, and since she's been running this pregnancy center, we've had 13 babies born clean.
wow, that's amazing.
hmm So
And
our
without,
staff is made up of people who have successfully completed the program.
mhm,
People are more like you said, if you've been there, people receive that from you. And so Renee Holder is over our pregnancy center for women, and she is amazing. So if you know somebody that is pregnant or about to have a baby that's dealing with substance abuse, and you want to get a clean baby born, get this lady some help and get her some footing, now call Renee Holder at the number that you have on the screen. When you call that number, that's the admissions office in Poplarville, Mississippi for Jacob's Well. That's for the Damascus Road for the men. That's for the pregnant women. That's a one-stop shop, that number right there.
mhm. So this number right here, y'all, you see it right here is 601.
It's a one-stop shop. You will definitely get the help that you need. You'll be able to talk to someone that can point you in the right direction. And it is a 6-month program, but you got to think. We did so much more with 6 months of our time. It
Right,
all goes back to time, and this is good time.
right, right. Like I said, number right there on the screen, 601-746-5144. If you know
Mhm.
anybody that's addicted to any substance abuse,
And
uh,
with these recovery centers that we have, the men, they work and they pay for their own program. The women, we get sponsors for the women. So people sponsor, the women, different churches, organizations, or it's private pay.
right. And again, Damascus Road is for men, and like you said, they work,
Mhm.
and they said the money goes back to
Some
their
of them
family.
work REP programs, right?
Okay. And then Jacob Well recovers for the females,
Yes.
all under this one number right here.
Under this one number,
It
you
says
can
one.
call and get any information that we didn't give you because we talking about things here.
Right.
But any information that you feel as though you didn't get on here, you can call this number and they will put you in touch with one of us that you can talk to about getting your life on track, or getting your loved ones some help, or just a conversation that you may need to have with your loved ones to try to push them towards getting some help, because that's a lot of times in our community they don't want to go get no help. They
Right.
don't feel like they need it. They can sing it to your cousin house out of town and you come back better.
Right. Right. Right.
Get you some help that's gonna help you out of your situation, and don't be afraid to ask. Don't be let shame take over,
Right.
because there's some that'll talk about you and some that will talk to you and talk with you and talk you through it.
And let me say this real quick. Everything you saying was questions I was going to ask you, but you're already saying it because you like you said, you're living testimony. You walked that road, you traveled that path, and
hmm
now you're off that path, and you can tell your story. So
Yeah.
I appreciate you because, like I said, I got all these questions written down. The same thing you just said right now. You know, you can't be ashamed. You can't be ashamed. You gotta do what's best for you eventually.
And people are, and I get it, that you're ashamed of your actions, especially as you get older. Now some of the young ones, they don't know to have no shame. These
Right.
new millennials, they are without shame.
Right. And that's a whole nother show in itself.
They are without shame. But if you was raised right and you find yourself going down that path, there's shame involved. You know what I'm saying? There's shame involved. There's regret involved, but there's definitely a way out. And what I just told you about, there's a way out through that, and there's definitely a way out through Jesus Christ. Jacob's well may not be for everybody, but Jesus is.
Amen.
And that's what I stand on. That's what works for me. What works for me is the faith that I have, the support system that I have. I have a wonderful husband. I have an awesome sister, and I have awesome friends and family that are always in my corner to, if I need anything. I mean, just
All right.
awesome. Awesome. Really awesome.
Let me ask you this question. I don't want to put you on the spot on about numbers, but if you can estimate or guesstimate, either or estimate or guesstimate, how many women and men have this Jacob's Well Recovery and Damascus Road? How many you think they helped in 19 years, right?
I would say we've helped thousands of women over the years. Not everybody comes, graduates, but some of them have done very well. We have nurses, we have all I mean from all walks of life, Fred, that have come through here, have done well, have stayed a part of the ministry like I have,
Right.
that have started their own things to get the women into, and I would have to say thousands. The men's facility hasn't been open that long, nor has the women's facility. I think the men's facility has been open about 4 or 5 years,
Okay.
but the Jacobs Hole Recovery Center for Women has been the longest standing, and we have helped thousands of women. I would say a percentage rate would be about 80% success rate for Jacobs Well.
And then you hit it on the head too. You said all walks of life. I don't want people to get caught up in
Yeah.
thinking that addiction or depression or substance abuse is a poor man's problem
Mm-mm.
because
It's
it's a
everybody.
people problem. You know what I mean? It's a people
These
problem.
women get to this point from a broke leg
Right.
and end up being a substance abuse,
Right.
being on on something. And so it can happen simple enough, but you have to have the courage that it takes to speak up, speak out, let people know what's going on, let people know how you feel, and find you someone. You can't talk to everybody, you know this.
Right. Right. Right.
But you have to have, again, one person that you can tell the truth to.
Right.
You gotta have somebody that you can tell the truth to
Right.
and be
And
good
it's,
with it.
I can imagine that would go a long way because that one person you can just spill your whole guts out to and say, hey, this is what's going on with me. And at least somebody would know and can try and help you or give you some advice or whatever.
Right, right.
Let me say this as we switch gears a little bit. We talked about the younger kids, those whatever you want to call them, Generation Y, Me, B, or whatever you want to call them.
Uh huh.
You got the floor. I mean, you're on the show. You got the floor. You've been talking good knowledge. You got good information. You got good resources, good tools. Like I said, y'all, Jacob Well Recovery Center, Damascus Road for men. That's the number. I'm gonna leave the number up there for a minute. But my question is, if you're sitting in front of a group of these kids that's depressed, and like I said, I think I mentioned earlier in the show that suicide rate is high, very high amongst kids from 18 to 25.
Mm-hmm.
18 to 25. In my notes it says 17% of black. I'm just mentioning black kids of black youth are depressed from 18 to 25. 17% of them. That's a high number to be a young adult or adolescent and had to battle depression. If you're talking to these millennials or these, like I said, Generation MBIO, whatever you call them,
Mm-hmm.
what would you stress to them? What would be
I would
perfect?
stress to them to find an identity that's not through social media.
Okay.
That they have to identify with something that's more tangible than the internet.
Right. Okay.
That they have to believe in their actual worth, And again, not what's based on social media. That's what's really got these kids all jacked up, is to identify as an influencer, or to identify as their identities are all tied up with the internet and social media. So my advice to them would be to identify with the real world, that just don't it's not always wrapped up in social media.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They need
That's
something.
yeah.
I would just encourage them to do more realistic things in life
Right. And
besides social
let
media.
me stop you. I'm gonna stop you and I'm gonna interject this because you just said something. Social media is big influencer, big, huge influencer because we didn't have that when we grew up.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and I'm not saying our age because we're not old, we're
Mm-hmm.
seasoned, and we didn't have the
Mm-hmm.
social media outlets to with all this stuff. We had this. We had parents that said you can't go by Henry house because Henry smokes weed. You can't go
Right.
by Tasha's house because Tasha is having sex. You can't, and they would shelter us from different areas. We weren't allowed. I wasn't allowed to go to certain places because
Yeah.
my parents knew what was going on. So we don't have that nowadays. We
Mm-hmm.
have social media that's telling everybody this is cool, that's cool, do this
It's
dance, do
raising
this
the
challenge.
little kids and it's
Right,
consuming the big ones.
right, right. And I know for a fact that these Facebooks and remember Black Planet, MySpace, all that stuff, it was created for
Yeah.
communication,
Yeah.
just keeping in touch, communication. But now it's grew into something that I mean everything these kids do, like these challenges, these dances, and
Yeah.
uh, different
It's like I
stints.
said, their identity is created through the internet.
Right, right,
Nobody has a real identity. They are able now to, what they call it now, identify as.
right, right. You
I
just said it.
identify as.
Right,
You know what I'm saying? So they have too many unrealistic. So, what I try to tell them, like when my grandkids are here at the house, my husband don't let them do a whole lot of being on the tablets and all that all day long.
right,
He shut it down and tell them go play all day. And when you come in the evening time, at the end of the day, then you can get back on his electronics.
right, right,
So they need some form of tangible things to do, and to fill their time with, besides all this social media, because it causes uh it just causes a lot of chaos and confusion, and it's going to be around because it's the age of that, so there's no
right,
shutting it down. But I'm saying they just need to be able to what's real and what's a social reality on the internet.
right.
There's just too much of that.
And you're right. And
So I
and
would tell them to do more meaningful things. You know what I'm saying? Find something to associate yourself with, groups, organizations. Do something that's gonna sow some seeds that you can see something positive. If you're gonna be on social media, be doing something positive. If you're gonna identify something that's gonna be positive and helping your people grow, whoever your people are,
right, right,
not just one nationality. Whatever area you're in or you represent it in a way that's going to be prosperous and help people grow. You know what
right,
I'm saying? Not the whole negativity aspect that they're doing with this, is what I would tell the young people, to do something meaningful.
right. And it's what you said earlier. It's so much false information on the internet and these social media things. And
Right.
I'm gonna say it like this. I don't think it's a coincidence that our current president has these people involved in his cabinet. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that's a coincidence. I think
Don't
that's
even crank my tractor there, Fred.
I'm just saying. I mean, you think he got the Elon Musk, he got the what's the Facebook boy name? What's his name? Whatever his name is.
They own all these social media platforms. It's going to take them right on off the cliff.
Right. You're right. You're exactly right.
Got to be careful with that. I just feel all that stuff was invented as a distraction for these kids. Some of the internet stuff is good, Fred. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a TikTok user. I love it. Um, but a lot of this stuff for these kids are a major distraction, because I mean, you take some of these things from these kids, they killing their parents.
Right. And you can't. The thing is, it's okay to like Facebook or
Hmm.
Twitter or whatever. It's okay to X, whatever you call it. It's okay to like, but to let it control your life, your daily life, that's the problem.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We got people. I work with some people be at work. They be at work on their phone at the same time, trying to see who said what on Facebook. You know,
Yeah.
that's like controlling your life.
I've never listened. You know, here's something funny is I got about 1,000 and some friends on Facebook, and I've been on there since 2008.
Right. Wow.
That
I'm gonna give some shout out real quick. Shout out to the comedian, my friend Mo Williams, brother. I need to get you down here doing some shows, man. Hey Brittany, my boy Paulie from California, by way of Mississippi. My cousin Miss Felicia Dixon, I love you. Pilar's on here. You know Pilar. Hey Pilar. Takara.
Pilar,
Yeah.
follow the
All these
smoke,
people.
Pilar, follow the smoke, Pilar.
Pilar. Puller. We used to call her Puller. Puller. You know what I'm saying?
What?
Yeah,
Pilar's
but
on here now.
she's on here. She's watching.
What's
But she
up,
was.
Pilar? Follow the smoke. You make me so hungry watching that meat. Then when you just break it all up with the on the girl,
She
I
had a good
follow
teacher.
you. I follow you, girl.
You heard me? She had a good teacher, her daddy. You know, her daddy taught her well.
Firewood Fred.
Yeah, if I were Fred. That's right. My man.
Firewood Fred.
See, that's what I'm talking about, man. That's good time. That's the circles we ran in. That's the people we know in common. You know what I mean? That was good time. That's a good time. And I but
Pilar funny. Whenever Pilar get her show, tell her, hey, I want to be on your show, Pilar. I mean, it's coming. When they scoop you, scoop me. I'm here for it.
pull up, holla at me, man. Yes indeed. But we're in over an hour now, so I'm gonna let you get some final words in, and I'm gonna give my opinions and tell you what I want to tell you. But go ahead and just let everybody know again
Well,
who you
I'm
are.
just letting you know recovery is available. It
Yeah,
is a choice. You can contact us. We will do what we can to get you some help, get your loved ones some help. If you want any more information about our program, Fred has the number up there on the screen. Um, you can call about any of the women or the men, and we can do an interview for them over the phone. There's also a website, Jacobsville Recovery Center .com, that you can also go on, also
yeah.
up on the screen. But give us a call and we can see what we can do to get you or your loved ones some help.
Right.
It's not hard. All you got to do is want it.
Yeah, like I said, I said it earlier. I mean, I know you know a lot. I know a lot of people that lost their lives behind this. I know
Hmm.
a lot of people that lost their sons, their daughters, or their kinfolk, that even their mother and father behind substance abuse. They can't get back. But what we
Hmm.
can do back is get people that's still here. We can still get them back. It just takes a little willpower. It takes some encouragement. It takes you being, like you said, you got to know what the problem is and be ready to face it.
Absolutely. You got to, hey, admitting you have a problem. I know it sounds cliche. That's the first real step and
Right,
get your life back is saying, hey, I didn't do too much. I got to
right.
do something with myself. There is nothing wrong with coming to terms that you are the problem.
Yeah. And I was always taught that even the fastest horse got to sit down sometimes. So you can run that fast lap all you want. Eventually, you got to come right back and sit your ass down or
Well,
lay
I
your
had to
ass.
sit this down. The way my back is set up, it set me down. The way this back is set up, I done got old, Fred.
I don't
That
believe that. I mean, you're looking good. I'm
hot
just saying.
flashes. You see these flashes? I know they probably laughing like, dude, Jesus, my air is on now.
Yes, indeed. But I want to say this to you as a
Okay.
friend. I admire you. I mean,
Oh, thank you, Fred.
nobody. I know I didn't ask you to come over here and tell your whole story. I just wanted you to come on here and talk about your
Right.
tools that you got. But you're willing to share your story. Like I said, you're a walking testimony.
Mhm.
I admire you
All right,
because
well, I appreciate it. No shame in my game here. Hey, it's freedom in the truth.
that's right.
And you
That's
know,
right.
when you're able to tell people your truths, you're able to move on and get past it. There's
There you
nothing
go.
in a lie.
That's right. That's right. And again, I mean, I really thank you from the bottom of my heart coming on here. This is a pretty much new show. I think this is like my sixth or seventh show. Pretty
When I
much new.
saw you, I was like, I was like, is that Fred? Hit him up.
Yeah, but like I said, it's virtually new. We're growing every day. We're getting powerful shows, and this was one of the most powerful shows because all the information that was given out. Like I said, Jacob Well Recovery Center and Damascus Road. Now, both of these are in Poplarville, right?
Both of them. The Men's Recovery Center is out in the Steep Hollow community over in Poplarville,
Okay.
and we're located in Poplarville as well.
Okay, but even though it's located, if you're in Gulfport, Biloxi, wherever, even though it's located in Poplarville, you still call.
Anywhere. We have people from all over the United States. It's just
Right.
not for this area. We're online, and you can fill out applications online, and we get applications from all over the world.
Because the
So
outreach
it's
is strong, right?
internationally known, so to speak.
Like I said, the outreach is strong, and you got a strong message and a powerful voice. You know what I'm saying? Again, I thank you for coming on,
No
and I
problem.
want to, I want to, I want to do this
Time.
because I want to bring you back on some more shows. I'm gonna do because I'm doing some shows about the youth coming up. Um,
Okay.
doing some more shows that I know you might be interested in, and get you a
Okay.
chance to advertise Jacob's Well Recovery and Damascus Road. Um, anytime I can do that, I want to be the first to say I want to call you if that's okay with you and let you know
That is
what I'm
fine.
doing.
Reach out to me anytime. I'll be looking better than this next time.
You're looking good now. What you talking about? You
I'll be
Rosie
looking
Joseph.
better than this next time.
You Rosie Joseph, baby. Come on now.
Yes, yes, but I'm gonna get up with you though, Fred, and
Okay.
get you some more information on the things that we have going on so that you can get it out there, and we'll just be networking.
Right. And I said, like I said, it's a virtually new show, and it's called the Culture Connection for a reason, because I wanted to connect everything from our culture back to our communities. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Because it's somewhere it's a gap that we left
Right.
off from our parents to in between us to the new parents. You know what I'm saying? It's a gap in between that we're missing out on information, missing out on our culture, we're missing out on life. You know, and that's my goal and that's my purpose. That's why we do this show. And again, I want to give a round of applause to you. And I want to tell you too, congratulations. Clapping for you. I'm praying for you.
Thank you. Thank
And
you. Thank you.
continue to do what you're doing because you're doing a powerful thing.
And you keep doing what you're doing because that culture connection, people need to stay connected to what's going on, and the only way they're gonna know what's going on, since this is a platform, perfect. Get the word out on all topics. I love it. I'm here for it.
And like I said, again, I appreciate you. Tell Nicole I love her, man. I ain't seen that girl in about 20 years. I love
I
you
will.
too.
I'm finna get out the phone and call her line till I've been on the phone with freaking Fred.
Yeah, tell her I said, hey, man. But
I
continue to
will.
continue to do good work. Continue to put
I
your trust in
will.
God, man.
Thank you for having me, Fred.
Okay, I love you. I'll be in
Love you
contact
more.
with you soon. Okay, baby.
All right.
All right.
All right.
And there you have it, man. Again, uh, thank you, Joy. You was one of my motivations, Joy White, my big brother. Um, again, there you have it, man. Like I told y'all, this show is gonna be 100% real, 100% of the time. Um, I didn't ask Josie to do that. I didn't ask Josie to come on and talk about that like that. But I'm glad she did now because hopefully we can change one or two, three lives. You know what I'm saying? And her story, her testimony is powerful because she traveled that road and she's back from that road and she can tell you her story. Again, Jacobs Well Recovery Center for women and Damascus Road for men. All at this one number right here. Like Josie said, it's a one stop shop right here. If you're battling depression, addiction, substance abuse, hey, you just might want to talk to somebody. Call this number 601 746 5144. Let them help you get on the right path. Because sometimes that's all we need is a little guidance, a little push. Like when you was used to ride a tricycle, we couldn't pedal the pedals ourselves. We had to get somebody to push us until we learned how to pedal again. A pedal for the first time. Just like somebody learning how to walk again that's been paralyzed or had injuries, a broken leg or whatever. You remember the steps, but you got to get your mind there to help you complete the step. So once your mind and your body connect again, you see what I'm saying? Once that connects again, you'll be right back to where you were. Again, you can't have no shame in it. Can't have no shame. We have to stop this drug addiction. In order for our culture to be realized back in our community, we have to stop substance abuse. We have to stop the fentanyl. We got to stop it. We have to stop fentanyl. It's killing people daily. And that's my goal. We're going to do that. Not because I want to do it or I have to do it, because I'm going to do it. Like I said, we will make a difference on this show. We will. We will go into communities and make a difference. And having said that, I'm gonna go ahead and announce it now for next week. Next week's show, we're gonna dig into politics. Next week, we're gonna have two of the mayoral candidates for Gulfport, Mr. Ronnie Henderson and Sonia Williams Barnes will be on this show next week, and we're gonna talk to them, let them discuss their views and their vision for the city of Gulfport. You know what I'm saying? Gulfport is the second largest city in the state of Mississippi. We have a chance to have a voice in that seat. So I'm gonna allow both candidates to come on and talk and explain, like I said, their views and their vision of the city of Gulfport. It's gonna be a good show. So I don't have to wait till the middle of the week to tell y'all what we're gonna talk about. We're gonna be doing politics because April the 1st is the primaries, and not only do you need to vote, you have to vote. That's the only way your voice can get heard. And it's a little bit different from the presidential election because um, on the local level, your voice is louder. On the local level, your voice is it rings bells. You know what I'm saying? Who you have in office in local elections, like I said, the mayor, the councilman, and I'm gonna reach out to some of the councilmen too, the candidates for councilman to come on and give their vision and views, and not debate, but just let you know who they are, what they stand for before the primary, so you can, if you're undecided or if you still leaning this way or that way, or you just wasn't going to vote at all, or you don't know this one person, didn't know the other person, give them an opportunity to come on and voice their opinion. So that's next week, man. Again, I'm overwhelmed with joy for my friend Josette, man, because like I said, I know her long time ago. I've been knowing her for a long time, and I've known her to be real fun girl, real um, smart young lady. She always has been, man. And I didn't know she was battling that demon, but she defeated the demon for 17 years. This when she said 17 years, she was clean. She's been clean for 17 years. 17 years, that's a long time. Ain't no turning back. She ain't going back to it. You know what I'm saying? And that should for some of you people that's been clean for a couple of months or clean for a couple of days or maybe clean for a couple of years. Her testimony of her 17 years being clean is powerful because ain't no going back. None. And you can tell it the way she talked, how she talks about it, the way she explains what she went through, and not have no shame whatsoever. And telling you, you better listen to her. Better listen to her, man, because I'm telling you, she right on point. And like I said, some of the stuff she was saying, I had these questions written down I was going to ask her, but she answered the question before I even asked it, because that's how dedicated she is. That's how dedicated they are here at Jacobs Well Recovery Center, Damascus Road, to get you right back on the right track, to push you in the right direction, to give you guidance, give you confidence, give you anything, any tool you need. You call this number right here. Call the number right here. All right, man. Like I said, Chosen, thanks for coming again. And like I said, I love you, man. We got to talk more often. We gotta be present in each other's lives more often. Like I said, I'm gonna come back on, and I'm not even gonna ask you. I'm just gonna tell you coming back on. You're gonna be back on. Gonna be back on. But like I said, man, we're in almost an hour and a half. I don't plan on being here for more than an hour. But when the conversation is good, the information is correct, the information is powerful, the message is powerful, it can linger on a little bit. So just bear with me, man. Like I said, we're growing. We're growing. We're like this. I think this is my seventh show, and the numbers are increasing each week. And I appreciate every last one of you for stopping by and supporting me, stopping by and checking me out, see what we're talking about. And by any means, if you have any question about uh, what you want to talk about on this show, uh, any topics, or if you want to come on, just speak your piece about a topic I have, just inbox me on my Facebook page. I know me as Fred Cook. but I am OG Freaky the Pimp, and I'm the host of this show. So contact me at any time. Let me know what y'all want to talk about. Like I said, if you got anything to add to the show, you can inbox me, and I will bring you in on that live show if you want to. Just, I mean, you can inbox me, do something simple. Hey man, let me in. Let me in. I want to talk. I want to talk. Because sometimes I have invited guests, and some don't make it. Sometimes when they do make it, I mean, we're talking about certain things, and we may be missing a point. So if it's a point that you see that we can reach, or some goals we can talk about, by all means, like I said, just say let me in. Caesar, how you doing? Christy, how you doing? Thank y'all for joining. But like I said, man, we have to do this. And the reason why we have to do this, man, because they're not going to do this. Our culture is everything. And I don't care where you're from. I don't care what country, what culture you're from. It means everything to your well-being. It means everything to your being as a person. What you are as a person is your culture. So we have to connect that back to our community, because we're missing. It's a gap. It's a gap. And that's my goal. We're going to connect everything from our culture back to our community. And like I said, man, y'all know how I do. I put my song on and ride out. And again, like I said, it's the most powerful song. I love this song, man, and I've been loving it for a long time. I think you know the words to it now, but still listen to the words. The words is preaching unity. It's preaching togetherness. It's preaching what we can do as a unit, as one main unit. That's what we need to become, one main focused unit. And once we get to that point, it's not anything we can't accomplish. So, like I said, as I ride to my song, rest in peace to the great Franklin Beverly. Maze is still touring, but Franklin has left. But this is a powerful song, man, and it's called "Working Together." So, like I do, man, y'all just sit back and check it out and listen to the words. Words is teaching, like I said, unity, preaching unity, and that's how we gotta do it. Again, it's your boy, OG Freaky the Pimp. Join me next week when I have these candidates on from the city of Gulfport to get out the vote, the right to vote, and rock the right to vote. And come learn about these people. Come sit down and listen to what they got to say instead of just voting for a name. That's the worst thing you do, just vote for a name. Vote for a person who has ideals that fit your needs. That's the reason why you vote. So, without further ado, like I said, this is Sunday is the first day of the week, so y'all have a blessed week. We'll see you next week, right back at the same time, 8 o'clock Sunday here on the Cultue Connection. Church. I want to thank Joseph for sharing her testimony, sharing her life. Everybody that she don't know, y'all don't know. I listen to the words while we ride out to the man. We'll see y'all next week.
Best friend. together, we can watch it happen. Come on, come on. You and me meant to be able to see. If we work together, we can watch it happen. Come on.